If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Welcome back in. This is live coverage from the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis on WNST. Joined now by the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers and a former Baltimore Raven himself, Mr. Jim Harbaugh joins us now. Coach, how's your weekend?
Oh, I'm on edge. I'm on edge. Getting back to work here. Very excited, very happy to be back working, and the reason I say I'm on edge, I just want to do a better job. Going through this the second time, want to take advantage of as much improvement as we can, going from that first year to the second year, because I really believe that you can make your most strides going from 1 year, your first year, to the second, much like a college freshman would from his freshman year to his sophomore season. So on edge, excited, want to attack it and get as good as we can. As good as we can get evaluating these players.
I feel like you might be on edge like on a Tuesday, like on a normal week. You might just be, like if you were playing Tiddlywinks, you'd be on edge or something like that. That just seems like your personality.
There's a lot to worry about. When you're a head coach of a National Football League team, or you got a team with several free agents that are starters and some of your best players, and hoping to get them all signed back, because they all play like 49ers. They play their hearts out. So and a lot of things, getting to know these youngsters as well as you possibly can. I mean, most of the evidence is right there on tape from what they did in college, but there'll be tests here, and getting a chance to get knee to knee and eyeball to eyeball with some of these youngsters, interview them, and watch how they compete. I just don't want to miss a thing.
So we talked to your wife and your sister-in-law at the Super Bowl.
They really enjoyed that, by the way.
It was a lot of fun. I mean,
my wife Sarah really enjoyed the experience.
It was really a lot of fun. And we asked.
There was like, I know she did quite a few, of the interviews, but she particularly singled out your station.
Well, we appreciate
that. But when you're around Nestor, though, there's a certain unforgettable
hard
quality.
To forget, no doubt. But just in general, that week after the championship games, you and John, did you? Who sent the first message? Who sort of had the first note to each other? What was the first communication between the two of you?
I don't recall exactly, who called who, but like after most of our games, and there's some weeks where we don't talk or whatnot, but I don't recall, who made the first call.
I mean, I was told that you guys were watching the AFC Championship game as you were getting ready for the NFC title game.
I was, because we were just sitting in my office there at the Candlestick watching different series and things like that, and then you go out to warm up, and then you come back in, and before you go out, you hear the score and everything. But I really haven't talked about John, this with John, but I know how I feel, and I don't want to speak for John, but there's mixed emotions to it. Disappointed that you didn't get to the Super Bowl and be in that football fight. I mean, that would have been the ultimate goal. That you didn't win, and that you gave it your best and didn't win. You could make the case that, hey, your best wasn't good enough. But in our case, in Baltimore's case, it was two teams that played their hearts out. Gave it everything they had, and those games easily could have come our way. So you feel a great sense of pride too, and proud of your football players, and I know I do with our 49er players, because that's what they did. They played their hearts out. They gave it everything they had, and I hope they feel the same way now. And another emotion is getting back to work, and finding ways that you can get a mile an hour faster, chase a 0.0% to get better, and that's what we're doing here this week.
He's Jim Harbaugh, who joins us here on WNST. Coach, you mentioned that. It's funny because now, here in your first year, you get an NFC title game, and now that's sort of going to be what's expected out of you moving forward. And I know John went through the same thing, reached the title game his first year, and now there's this expectation that's just what you're going to do. And I guess that you welcome that, and you say, okay, now that is our goal, to be able to do that every year.
Well, our approach is, when it comes to expectations, is expect to have a great combine. Expect to have a great evaluation period here. With all of our coaches and our general manager, our scouts, our entire organization, and enjoy watching these guys compete, and enjoy finding the next 49ers that can come in and help our football team, and that's what's important to us now.
Before I let you go, Coach, I know that obviously a lot of people are going to ask you about Andrew Luck this weekend because of your relationship with him.
I must have had 6 questions when I was at the podium.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you about Andrew Luck. Instead, I want to ask you about the 2 offensive linemen, DeCastro and Martin, that you had at Stanford. And those are guys that maybe your brother might be interested in trying to make Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about those 2 young men?
Great youngsters that they played 3 years. They were 3-year starters, both of them, and they really anchored that Stanford line that was so good, for the last 3 years. You call back to when they were redshirt freshmen, blocking for Toby Gerhart, who's now playing with the Minnesota Vikings. Set a school record in terms of rushing and in terms of sacks allowed. And both of those guys, were the anchors. They got now I know them. I know how they're wired. I know their makeup, and they're going to make really fine pros because the way they approach the game, the real love that they have for football. And the other thing I think is sometimes I look at myself, I got to temper it just a little bit because these are my guys, and sometimes I got to bring somebody in just to check me, am I over evaluating, or am I under evaluating?
You want all those guys on your team.
Yeah, I do. You love them, but the thing you realize when you come to a combine like this, when there's 31 other teams that are picking, you're most likely you're going to be playing against most all of these guys.
Sure.
There's 7 or 8 or 9 of them that will be on your team, and the rest of them you're playing against.
Before I let you go, how many strangers come up to you and say, who has it better than us?
I know the answer to that question. Nobody.
That's pretty good. He is the coach, Jim Harbaugh, San Francisco 49ers, former Baltimore Raven coach. We appreciate you stopping by and spending a few minutes with us.
Thanks for having me.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.